What up with the YouTube world? You in the house with your boy Chin Checker. We back with another reaction video. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the subscribers. Can you please do me two favors? Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell notification button. I'd like to send a special shout out to Taya Graham and the Real News Network. They really do a good job with this, man. I love reporting on them, reporting with them. I love the way they compile their information. I love the way they go to bat for, innocent victims. All right, without further ado, I'm talking too much. Let's get right into it.
So we don't just focus on the bad behavior of individual cops. Instead, we examine the system that makes bad policing possible. And today, we will achieve that goal by showing you this video. It depicts an unwarranted and aggressive raid on a house over a noise complaint. But it is how police escalated the encounter and what they did when the occupants pushed back that we will be unpacking for you today. A clear example of how police power can be abused and the consequences when it is not put in check. But before we get started, I want you to know that if you have video evidence of police misconduct, please email it to us privately at par@therealnews.com, or you can reach out to me at Facebook or Twitter on Taya's Baltimore, and we might be able to investigate for you. And please like, share, and comment on our videos. It helps us get the word out, and it can even help our guests. And of course, I read your comments and appreciate them. You see those little hearts I give out down there? And I've even started doing a comment of the week to show you how much I appreciate your thoughts and also to show off what a great community we have. And we do have a Patreon called Accountability Reports. So if you feel inspired to donate, please do. We don't run ads or take corporate dollars. So anything you can spare is truly appreciated. All right. We've gotten that out of the way. Now, if there's one trend we've reported on consistently on this show, it is the continued assault on our constitutional rights by the overreach of American police. In story after story and incident after incident, law enforcement constantly encroaches on the rights that are bestowed upon us for offenses both trivial and mundane. And in doing so, they have both diluted and in some cases eliminated many of the most important protections that were deemed essential 225 years ago. But not so much today. And no encounter with police is more exemplary of this erosion of our rights than the video I am showing you right now. It depicts police entering a home based solely on a noise complaint and then using that pretext to assault the occupants. A troubling abuse of police power that we have learned was based upon shaky legal ground and has continued to have severe consequences for the people who experienced it. The story starts in Childress, Texas, when a family was spending time in their home committing the horrifying crime of listening to music. Apparently, though, Childress police felt it was too loud, so they took time from more urgent crime-fighting duties to take a visit. Just watch.
I just got here. What's the problem?
Somebody called and complained about loud music, and I talked to
It's not 10
them.
o'clock, so I mean.
It doesn't matter. It's disorderly conduct. Oh, it does?
It does because.
Do you want to go to jail for it?
I can't go to jail for that. I know
Yeah, you can. It's disorderly conduct. You think I don't know the law? 213, meet me over here. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
You can't arrest me.
Yes, I can.
You can't, sir.
Oh, yes, I can.
And just a note, during the daytime, an officer would need to measure more than 65 decibels on an approved sound level meter at more than 50 feet away from the source. Did you hear any music? And you may have noticed that the resident actually knew the hours he was allowed to play the music and shared that with the officer, and then simply chose to return indoors as he wasn't under arrest and standing on private property. However, the officer took serious issue with his exercise of his rights. Take a look.
You got mad, in other words.
Yes, I can.
He's mad.
We'll turn it down.
No. You're under arrest.
No, sir, you're not stepping my house.
No.
This is the first.
Get in here.
You gotta have a warrant to come in.
Hey, don't
He
push
just
me.
pushed her out the way.
Hey, you gotta have a warrant.
Pushed her down.
She just had a baby.
Now, it's important to point out that yes, officers generally do need a warrant to enter a private residence. However, that requirement can be waived if someone is in immediate danger, evidence is being destroyed, or they are chasing a suspect who has committed a crime, otherwise known as fresh pursuit. However, I think it's questionable, you know what, scratch that, implausible that any of the actions by this family met that threshold. But I'll let you decide as you watch. Take another look.
She just had a baby.
I'm trying to
Hey,
get
look,
you out of the way.
You can't
Get
come in.
out of the way.
Hey, you can't. Hey, that's what
He
you
goes
got.
in custody.
You gotta have a warrant to come
He
in.
goes in custody.
You gotta have a warrant to come in.
Yes. And
You gotta. No, you can't arrest.
Don't touch
Come
it.
on.
Grab
You
the camera. Grab it. Fuck this shit. Grab
You gotta have a warrant. Come here. You gotta have a warrant.
My baby's right there.
Hey, the baby! The baby!
Now, what happens next is precisely what I highlighted in the beginning of this
crazy.
video. One of the occupants of the home did what any American has the right to do. That is, petition the government, so to speak, to recognize his rights. And just because this particular representative has a badge and gun does not automatically diminish that right. But unfortunately, this officer was having none of it. Just watch.
Look what you're doing! You're harming a baby! You're no! I know my laws. I've been in jail. I read the book and everything. You is not gonna go treat her. No. You go. I'm not gonna turn around for what?
Because I'm putting you in custody.
For what?
Because I'm
For
detaining
what?
you. I just told
For
you.
what? No, you
didn't even do
you don't
nothing.
even got a search warrant to be in here.
Right.
You need a
Go
search.
take him in custody.
Bring the search warrant. Until I see a search warrant.
209 children. Send us
Where's the search warrant? You're in the house. You're in the house.
Finally, after literally failing to state probable cause for entering the home and pushing a recently pregnant mother of a newborn to the ground, the officer again escalates by deploying his taser. Take another look.
And you just went
Get back.
Get back. You're in the house. You get back. Get
us
back.
another unit.
Get back. You're over here. You're making me scared. You're pointing the
down.
taser. You're pointing the
Because you were
taser at
getting
me.
in my way of
You're
trying to
pointing
detain
the
him.
taser at me. You have to have a search warrant to be in the house.
Yes.
You have to have a search warrant to be
No,
in the
I
house.
don't.
Yeah, you do.
Dude, where is the
Get
search warrant?
Get
Where is
down.
the search warrant? What am I gonna get down? You're in the house. You
Get
came in
down.
without no search warrant. Without no search warrant. You can go over there and tell me, but one thing, you're being wrong. You're being wrong right now. You're in the house
All
without a
I'm
search
asking.
warrant.
All I'm asking.
You're not, and all I'm asking you to
Get out!
Oh.
Get out! Put your hands behind your back right now or you're going to get it again.
Now, the chaos you've just witnessed was just the beginning of the fallout for this family as police and prosecutors have continued to pursue them, a struggle we will be discussing with Texas cop watcher Manuel Mata shortly. But before we do, I want to go to my reporting partner, Stephen Janis, who's been reaching out to police for comment and looking
Man,
into the
straight
case.
shot him,
Stephen, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, Stephen, how are the Children's Police justifying the raid? What are they saying?
Well, Tay, we actually have some breaking news on that question because we found some more video that gives a different perspective on what went on inside the house. And we're going to show it to you now. This shows
Okay.
what happens when police entered that room and started arresting the woman who had just recently given birth to a child. Take a look.
He didn't do anything.
Shit, because I'm playing my fucking music. Because I'm playing my music.
My baby is right there.
Look at
Look.
this shit. You see my scars? I just had surgery. Get back! You're over here. You're making me
Hey,
scared.
why did you push me like that?
You're pointing the
Because you were
taser at
getting
me.
in my way of trying to
You're pointing
detain
the
me.
taser at me.
So you
have to
pushed
have a
me?
search
So you
warrant to
pushed
be in
me
the house.
all the way to the
Yes.
You
ground?
have to have a search warrant to be
No,
in the
I
house.
don't.
Now, as you can see, the officers go beyond just arresting her for no reason. They then threaten to take her children away from her with,
Oh,
Child
come
Protective
on
Services. Take another look and watch it. And I want to let
Wow.
this sink in a little bit about what they were threatening her with.
Because you're the police. Best believe all this shit is going on fucking Facebook.
All we were doing was playing music.
Look. My baby is right fucking here, this motherfucker.
Hey, calm
I had
down.
surgery. I had surgery on my
Get out! Put your hands behind your back right now or you're going to get it again.
What the hell? Y'all can't come in my house like this.
When I try to arrest
Yeah.
and detain
No.
for disorderly conduct.
He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. All they were doing was playing fucking music. He didn't do nothing wrong.
Yes, he did.
What did he do?
Conduct.
What did he do?
I already told you.
What did he do? Explain
Man,
it.
that's crazy.
Explain it.
Don't move around.
Hey!
You got things
Hey!
to test,
I
okay?
know it
Hey!
hurts,
Then don't
nigga.
move much.
Take them off then.
What?
You went over here
All
and
right.
telling me
My
you
baby's right there. I didn't do nothing. What did I do?
Turn around.
I
They
did
gonna arrest her,
not.
too? Oh, man.
No, I don't. I didn't do anything. What did I do?
I know they're not going to arrest her, too.
No, I'll call my mom.
So as you can see, the video does not lie. The video tells us that this arrest was just worse than you can even possibly imagine in the sense of being destructive for this poor family that had to deal with it. I'm being a little biased here because I just don't see how a noise complaint should lead to multiple arrests and
Exactly,
separating
man. It's
someone from their
unnecessary.
children, regardless, So it's very disturbing.
So, Stephen, what does Texas law say and the Constitution say about entering someone's home without a warrant? What does the law actually say?
Taya, as you said in the opening of the show, there are very few reasons why you could actually storm into someone's house. You know, you have to have a warrant, generally speaking, unless someone has committed a violent crime or there's a safety issue. You know, I don't think any of those laws apply to this situation. I mean, if it is exactly how it seems on the video, that this was a noise complaint, I don't see any reason that this is justified legally or constitutionally. It's just not right.
So what do you think is problematic about this use of police force? What concerns does it raise for you? Because I know you've done a lot of reporting on tasers.
Taya, what I see here is something I've seen in policing generally called rapid escalation, where police simply ratchet up the intensity of the situation when people don't automatically comply. Remember, we have constitutional rights that allow us to push back, that give us certain rights when we're in custody of police, and police here just rapidly escalate into use of force for no reason at all. There was no threat, no, imminent public threat, nothing that would have justified this. So really, to me, this is an absolute abuse of power and why we have to keep producing this show.
And now to discuss what has happened to this family since and how police are continuing to disrupt their lives and what the fallout has been because of this questionable raid, I'm joined by Texas cop watcher Manuel Mata. Manuel, thank you so much for joining me.
I'm glad to be here with you again. I'm glad this time it's not really about something that happened to me, that I'm able to bring something else that needs to be put out there. And also, I like to thank you and appreciate the work that you and Stephen do. And hopefully you let them inside more,
So you've spoken at length with Juan Bermudez, the gentleman in the shirt in the video. Why did the police approach his home?
They allege that a neighbor had called a noise complaint. The officer responded to the noise complaint. If you notice, really the officer's frustrated because Lewis wasn't like standing. He said, "Okay, fine, I'll turn it down. Sorry." Right. So when Juan comes home, he hasn't have time to talk to his brother, and he hasn't time to get told him that, hey, the cops just came, they said to turn it down. So he just puts his phone and turned it up like nothing happened because he just came back from the store. And that's when the cop wasn't even that far. He said he was like right around the corner and pulls back up. And it's like now I've experienced 1 to 100, but this was like
just straight escalate.
I've never experienced to where they go like snap like that quick.
I was also surprised by how quickly police escalated the situation.
Yeah,
well, whenever he walked, stepped back in, that's when he was trying to explain to him what was the issue. Like the whole explanation was valid. Like there's no the actual noise complaint thing is like after 10, and literally he had to use a decimal reader. So what this police officer does, he crosses their threshold, and that's when the girlfriend the brother comes out, and she doesn't understand what's happening. That's why she says, "I'll turn it down." Okay. Like trying to snap the officer and try to de-escalate. But the officer takes it as like a form of aggression or like a interference. And it's just like she's trying to calm everyone down. And she doesn't even get a chance to do that because as soon as she does that, he literally like uses his arm to like, first he's like trying to put distance. And then she's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" So then you see him. What my problem was when his arm came back, and that's when it was like to get a grip and push her, like if there was a camera behind him, that's what it would have showed. How he pulled his arm back, and when he went forward, he took it. I'm pretty sure he put his foot behind him to take that stance to push forward, and that's when the sofa was right there, and she was knocked off balance. There wasn't no way she could have caught herself, and it's like he didn't even. It's like, here, push her out of the way, and then you see him focus on Lewis. I had to watch this a couple of times because it turns from he wants to arrest Juan, which is now inside of the room where the other officers is already trying to arrest him on the bed. So he's focused on Lewis in front of him, telling him he's interfering. Why don't he just turn around? Turn to the right and go in the room and arrest the brother like you're saying.
So I heard Juan say in the video that he went into the other room to get something to record the encounter. Do you know what happened in that room?
That's when the other officer, I don't remember his name off the top. That's when the other officer that's in there with him literally rushes him and completely pushes him through the door And that's when you see him try to turn around and explain, hey, my babe. And he doesn't get a chance to say baby because that's when
Man, he's
he
hiding
literally
around through
throws
the
him
door.
on the bed. And the officer
Man.
didn't even look to see if there was an actual baby, which it was. It was a sleeping baby on the bed. And his whole reason for resisting him isn't because he's trying to get away from him. He's trying to explain to him there's a child right next to him. And all it was is he was going to get something to film. The good thinking of the girl, she grabbed her phone and started filming that interaction because I didn't
Exactly.
even know they made a video on Facebook that got a little bit of attention too. I didn't even know that because what I found was the actual body camera footage.
So there was another young man, Juan's brother Luis, who was understandably upset by the way the mother of a newborn baby, was pushed. And he correctly said that the officer should not be in the house without a warrant or permission from the owner. Now, he was obviously upset, but he obeyed when the officer asked him to step back.
He
What
kept
happened to
stepping
him?
back. Yeah,
The
I don't get
officer
it.
continued to, he
They should
never
have
de-escalated.
de-escalated.
If
Yeah.
anything, he escalated even worse because exactly
Yes.
when you see him like addressing him, he's explaining to him, hey, well, there you go. He's even making sure he understands, is it recording? You know, that's why he's trying to get him to turn around and go in there if that's his issue, but he's focused on him. And then you hear him give him these unlawful and illegal orders of get down, comply, you know, and it's like his brain was functioning on this guy's a threat. And to me, if someone's standing with their hands behind their back, how is that a threat?
That's
And
not a
you're the
threat.
one that has
Exactly.
your and the
Come
whole
on,
time you're
man.
shaking. That's what got me nervous watching this because
Like you getting ready to
imagine
shoot
if
him.
it wasn't a taser and he had this in his hands like this and his hands like this, and he literally had to put his other hand over it to steady his aim. That in itself is a problem because he was
Scare a cop
complying.
with a gun.
He was trying to get you to de escalate and you chose not to. He was asking you, please get out of my house. Show me a warrant, which anybody which is
Exactly.
inside of their
That's
home
your right.
has the right to tell anybody that they do not want their out to get out, right? And people are offended that this young man asserted his rights against tyrannical police officers. He's literally telling them,
Saying.
like, his hand's not even like coming at him in a threatening manner. He's saying, look, I just need you to show me the effing, and then boom, he gets hit.
So what was Juan charged with?
That day, he was charged with interfering, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest.
And how is Juan fighting these charges?
That's
What he
crazy.
explained was that he literally had to come up with money to bond out, but he was working at the time, so he was able to. The only thing he had to raise money to get Lewis out. It was kind of crazy because he stated that they didn't see a magistrate. They weren't told how much a bond was. Just somebody gave them a piece of paper and said, "This is how much you're going to have to pay to get out." And they paid that, and he
That sound like
hired an
extortion,
attorney.
kidnap.
I'm not 100% sure if he's on probation right now or it's already over. That's how he explained to me. He was either a little bit of time, probation, community service, and something else he agreed to. But he said he didn't know. And while he was telling me his story, the only frustrating part was I didn't know how to fight back. Like I was young and I was scared what they were gonna do to me and my brother, and it was just this whole thing, and it was just like I didn't know how to fight back, and I didn't know how to fight back for my brother, and that was the whole thing. They took advantage of two brothers that didn't understand the law or the criminal system.
So the young man Luis who was tasered, what was he charged with? I believe he was charged with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. I think you said these charges were dropped, but he's still in prison now?
They were dismissed. They weren't even on the paperwork that I've seen on the appeal. It was stated that those charges were dismissed. I tried to figure out how this could
How
be
can you do
possible,
that?
and talking to Juan, and I wanted to go talk to the actual person that they're saying that he's allegedly on the probation for because he dropped it. I know there was no case between them, but looking on the paperwork, it clearly states a law enforcement officer claimed that Lewis aggravated assaulted him by cutting him. But they filed that a month after he was in jail. The lawyer that Lewis had He sent him up the river, like thinking it was a good thing to sign this piece of paper without
His
reading it.
lawyer.
It was
Oh
basically he
man.
got 18 years because he admitted to using drugs and drinking underage. That's the extent of the
18
evidence
years?
that they have to give this young man 18 years for violating that 4-year probation. It all stems from
Wow.
this
See?
arrest. It all wouldn't he would have never got in court, he would have never had to bond out if them officers would have never did what they did to him that day.
That's
They knew they
crazy.
were in the wrong with this disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and interfering in all this. So instead of admitting wrong, they convinced the young man to plead guilty to him using drugs and drinking. And in the little fine print, it says, by the way, we're charging you with this. And he didn't pay attention to the little fine
Tricked
print.
them.
It was just the taking advantage of two kids that were in a small neighborhood because they don't have their parents. They don't. Sad to say, certain situation created where they don't have both of their parents, and them brothers. That's all they had, each other.
Have you heard of other incidents of excessive force with this police department?
There was a couple other cases too, where and see, this is the thing because we've tried to screen record a lot of these hearings. And I think when we started posting about Childress, Texas, and all that, now the guy that does the YouTube, he's taking all the videos off of YouTube, and they won't give the body cam footage and to the people that are requesting it. And this is a confusing little town
See?
because that's what I went to go do, and it was like you can't even find the police station. It's literally attached to the back of City Hall on the side. And if you don't like know exactly where it is, I literally passed it walking twice.
So, how do you think they should have handled this alleged noise complaint?
The officer, first and foremost, should have recognized that he was talking to two different people.
And little
Then he
kids.
would have addressed it a different way because he would have known that, hey, I didn't tell him, so let me go on and tell him too. Hey, by the way, hey, I just came here. I noticed you're not the same person I talked to, but if you wouldn't mind just turning the music down and everything will be fine. And if the response would have been, hey, 10, hey, I don't have to until 10 o'clock, and then the officer could have been, yeah, you're right, or it would have been room for an open discussion to come to an understanding, and there was not. He literally shut that door to where there was only.
Just went
Well, look
straight
what
in
happened.
on them.
He wanted the young man to match his aggression because he didn't like his response, and when the young man tried to retreat, he still didn't like that. The thing that was frustrating the most is when he's sitting here arguing and grabbing it, the music was off the whole time.
I know in your work as a cop watcher that one of your goals is to help protect people's civil rights and help educate them on their rights. What do you hope will be the result of helping Juan and his family get their story out to the public?
I hope it does two things. It gives the reunification of his family, because I think that young man shouldn't be in prison. If he did violate it, I think it should be accordingly, which is the 4 years that he agreed to be on probation for, not 18. And secondly, I hope this brings like sort of a protection to people that are considered not part of of people. They should respect their rights, you know. Well, you never know that them cop watchers might come back, you know. Now they know that they're somewhere close, they're somewhere around, you know,
Exactly.
because they hide behind the fact that no one knows. So if they're able to intimidate two brothers, you know, because I understand the hey man, this, but when you're sitting in a building, in a cell, in a room, and there's two people telling you this is what they're gonna do to you for the next 18 years of your life, it's like you kind of break down from the tough guy image, and you're like, how did I
Yeah,
get
you
here?
do.
And I know what he's feeling, sitting there thinking they just gave me 18 years, man. Wow. And it's like the whole time you're screaming to the top of your lungs, it's wrong, it's wrong. And no one listens, no one's hearing you. And it just makes me feel like doing this, we hear you. I heard you. Even if he got silenced and he's in prison, I heard it, I saw it. And I want to give that hope to everybody, man, that not everything is always going to stay in the dark.
And finally, can you update us on any of the cases that you're currently facing?
Well, all of them are dismissed. All my
Thank
cases got
God.
dismissed. I was facing 7. Those got dismissed. I pled guilty to a trespass because technically by the law, you know, I the only argument I would have is if I approved something in civil court, and that's irrelevant in criminal court. And when I understood that, I had to be real with myself. So they gave me 1 day credit time served. And then the two cases that I have on appeal now is my lawyer. He's a good dude. I actually talked to him. He's pretty all right, my appeal lawyer. He says that he don't understand how they were able to do that. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna win with these two other ones in the appeal. Then it's start suing them, man. And a lot of
Very
people
good.
have tried to criticize me about that. About then I did all this for the money, but they don't understand. I'm only gonna take money for like a few of them. The rest of them is gonna be to force them to change their policies, the way they investigate crimes, what happens when you get arrested, when you go to jail. I want to change that way. That way, everything's fair across the board, because the only ones that get special treatment are cops that break the law. And I don't think that's
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I think they should hold everybody to the same form of accountability, treatment, and the same degree of the law. I don't think nobody should be above or under it. I think everybody should be at the same line. And it's all to leave something behind, to show that even though that I started wrong, that I ended in the right way.
Okay, normally at this part of the show, I do a little rant about
And I'm going to stop it right there, YouTube. I want to know your comments on this, man. I think the police were a little bit too aggressive and they went in too fast. Shout out to Telegram. Man, Telegram, you my girl. You guys keep this news coming. Hey, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. Please like and subscribe. And as you can see, man, this was horrible. This young man got tricked into that deal. He signed a 4-year, if you're not knowing what just went down. He signed a 4-year joint suspension by, a lot of youngsters don't know, but once you sign that joint suspension, any violation of that probation, you go to the pen. That's why they call it joint probation. He signed a 4-year joint probation, joint suspension type of deal, which meant if you violate that, you're supposed to go to the pen for 4 years. How he got twisted into an 18-year deal, I don't know. And then I want to tell you youngsters too, also, I know I'm doing a lot of talking. Stop self-telling. Don't talk to these people without a lawyer. All right, once again, shout out to the Real News Network. All right, peace, love, and understanding. Let's keep these videos going. Let's keep the comments going. And please like and subscribe. Let me know if I'm doing good. Let me know what else I can do. All right, peace out.